So we have some of the trusses up for the little roof and some of the trim already, and I think it's starting to come together. I think it's looking really good. But before we get to that, I'm Anna and this is my husband Spencer. Back in 2013, we dove into DIY renovating our first home, never backing down from a project no matter the challenge.
Then in 2019, we sold our first home and bought our second, setting the stage for even larger renovations. Along the way, we also discovered our passion for gardening with a special love for Japanese maples and conifers.
Lately, we've been hard at work building a 2-story shed to create space for even bigger dreams ahead.
If you like our content, please consider subscribing so that you're notified whenever our latest videos go live.
But most importantly, welcome! Enjoy the video and join us in our epic journey. Let's go!
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today we're working on the shed again, and we're working on the second roof and the trim. Last time it turned out we were going to try to just have the second roof and have that all squared away, but it turns out that's not the case.
Yeah, they're kind of intertwined with each other, and we discovered that in order to reach the upper part of the building to put the trim on there, the little roof would be in the way.
Right.
So that was a problem. So that's why we had to work on the trim on the upper part of the building. And then they also were kind of intertwined with each other, and it's just...
Right. So it ended up nothing really getting done, but a lot getting done.
Mm-hmm.
So this time we're hoping to finish up the trim on the top side and finish up putting on the trusses. So that's our goal. We hope that you enjoy the video, and we better get going.
All right.
So continuing where we left off last time, we're going to finish the horizontal trim above the second roof and then install the rest of the second roof trusses.
So we were on the outside of the building and screwing that truss in, and we decided we really do need some blocking on the inside of the building. So I came in here and I saw that this was exactly where the screw is coming through both the siding and the sheathing. I could see it a little bit, and so I cut this piece of board blocking just to fit right here. And I'm just going to put it right here, roughly where I was right against. Doesn't really... No, that's fine. There. So I backed that screw out before, and so now when we drive it home, it should have something to bite into on this side. And with that, all the trusses are installed. All right, so what are we doing?
Hey, so the first thing we need to do today is to put a chamfer on our furring strips. Just so you'll know, right now this is not plugged in.
Yeah,
so,
I can see that.
when I look like I'm being all dangerous. So what I've done here is I've set this to a 45. It doesn't really matter for these which one is the top or bottom, because this is, again, furring strips. And the furring strips are what go underneath our shakes and finished look, if you're not familiar with the term furring strips. So what I need to do here is just move this to where this is about. I want to take off just enough of this piece.
And for us, that's going to be a 45-degree angle, because that's what the angle is of our little trusses over there.
Right. So that feels about right. And what I'm doing right now is not precise. It doesn't need to be. The furring strip doesn't have to be any set width. And none of them are actually the same width anyway. So as long as it's close and it's getting a good chamfer on it, we're fine.
Well, actually, it does need to be a set width. It does, because this is for cedar shakes, and cedar shakes need to have a furring strip at least somewhere between 4 and 6 inches width boards for the furring strips.
Okay, so correction, I'm only supposed to take on so many. I'm not supposed to do all of it. Okay.
These happen to be, again, with everything we've done so far, these are cedar fence pickets, and they are 5.5 inches wide. So that's just a little under the 6 inches and a little over the 4 inches. So I think that's perfect.
I don't know if you can see this. Up here it has a really nice sharp edge, which means that was the right distance. Down here it gets thick. So what that tells us is that this board wasn't a consistent width all the way down. It actually got wider towards this bottom. Or I'm sorry, it got wider towards the top. But anyway, it was a consistent thickness. So I gotta just bump this a little bit over. and try again. Once I have this set up though for this one, I should be able to do the rest, hopefully, as long as they're close to the same width. All right, so that's better. We have a consistent chamfer all the way across. Most likely this board is also going to be wavy when we put it on there. I don't think it's not straight at all. It goes woo, like a roller coaster. But once we nail it down, it should be all right.
So what we're doing right now is we're going to put our furring strips up in place that we just put the miter on. And we're going to put one right there and then one on the other side right there. And then we're going to just strike the line right there in the middle, because we have no idea what the angle is that'll be, especially since it's at a 45-degree angle. And I've learned this before with our baseboards, that it's better just to put a board in place and then put the other board against it and then strike the line to see where your joint needs to be.
Okay, so we kind of have them together. Let's see how they look.
Hey!
I mean, that's better. They're not perfectly in line with each other, but they're less than 1/8 of an inch off.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take it. That's pretty good.
Well,
and
you're
then,
not going to see the top or the bottom. So.
Look, and then if we have this guy here, done. Never know.
Cool, and cedar shakes too.
Well, yeah, there'll be cedar shakes there too. Okay, you're right.
Yay!
You sure you want cedar shakes and not just cedar?
I kind of was thinking about that. I was like, do we just want to do the cedar boards and we're done?
No, the shakes are going to bring in the Japanese feel, really, and we have them.
I know,
So
we already have
really
them.
do them. But yeah, this looks good. Yay! Hey Anna, okay, the first pieces are done
Yeah.
and installed. We have the first corners.
Yes.
These are the only corners we're doing. We don't have the back corners because this isn't going around the back side.
Well, the first corners are done, as in they're done for up here. We need to continue.
We'll have to continue on
three
down.
more layers down here for furring strips.
And I should say right now we've been debating on this corner here, if we even need to have support going down the middle of it. I know a lot of people are probably yelling, yes, you do. We might need to. But if we don't need to, then we definitely don't need to do it, because that would just be hard and difficult.
I mean, I was planning on it putting another truss diagonally right here, but we'll see how strong it is with these boards dangling out here in the middle of the air.
Okay, Anna, so what were you saying about this corner? What we need to do?
Well, now that we have this furring strip here, that will allow us to measure for this vertical piece of trim that goes around the window.
So that's what's next.
Yep, that's what's next.
Hey, good morning. So last time we were able to put all the trim up on the left side of the shed, and we were able to get some of the furring strips down, the first layer of furring strips. On the right side of the shed, we only have one set of furring strips. We need to go all the way down it. And then once I can do that, I can put the trim up above it, finish off that trim, and then once we have that, we can start putting the furring strips all the way around it, all the way around the whole building. Okay, so here, I can show you what I've done.
Okay.
So far this morning, I have put on one furring strip up there.
There
It's
it
out
is
there.
at the end.
And so the rest, we just need to get the trim on. Goal today, before it gets into the 90s, because it's going to get really hot later. So we're going to do the vertical trim up top. And then once we have the vertical trim, we're going to do the furring strips, and then that's the goal.
And then it's going to start baking out.
Right. Well, and the thing is, once these furring strips here, I can kind of show you. So this comes out to here, like
Yeah.
it comes out quite a ways.
Yep.
Once we have it that far out, we can't get a ladder up against the ladders. We'd have to put the ladder against the actual furring strips. Cedar's not that durable. I don't know if I want to put a ladder against a furring strip.
No.
So that means that we're going to have to break out the scaffolding after we get the 4 strips on.
Oh, for when we went to shingle later.
Right, and even for getting the furring strips on, we may have to get out the scaffolding to be able to get an easy, like, good angle on it.
And scaffolding currently occupied with stuff, but not that bad. So we'll take everything off of there. It's really not that much stuff.
But that's the goal today. This is a new morning. We're getting going, and I got to go cut 2 measurements of 42.5 and 42.5 minus for those 2 verticals, and then we got to measure the other vertical.
Awesome.
So this one's right at 42.5, and then it's actually on the top and at a 45. There we go. So what I'm doing, I'm marking all of these. I'm cutting each end because it's the same angle, so I don't have to reset my angle over and over. I have 3 total. So both of these are 42.5 essentially. This one's 42.5 minus. When you say 42.5 minus, the minus part really means like minus a 1/16 of an inch or a little less.
Just a smidgen. I mean, like just like on the other side of the pencil line.
Yeah, like it's kind of like saying a 32nd, but you're eyeballing it. Carpentry.
Carpentry.
Carpentry. Here we go. This is 42.25 here. $42.25. We have it to where it goes down here and down there, same direction. Okay, hey, so these 3 pieces of cedar are now cut for the trim on the right side of the shed, so that should do. But now Anna has figured something out, so we're going to go to her. There she is. Hey.
Hey. So this is a yay. So our cedar fence pickets are around 6 feet long.
Yeah.
Like
Ish.
like smidgen off of
Okay.
6 feet or whatever. So yeah, 6 feet's here. So we can put a whole piece up there and don't have to have any seams.
So we just go straight up.
Yeah, we just go straight up. So
And why are we doing this right now?
we're doing this right now because I realize we have these seams up here, that we could always slide the piece in there, but then we wouldn't be able to get the nail gun in there if we put the furring strip on there. Like we would be hard to get the nail gun in there to attach it. So we need to do this strip first before we do the rest of these furring strips.
Okay.
So yeah, but it's nice that it's one piece because I was like, how am I going to make it match? Because the top one was like one solid piece going all the way down, and the other horizontal pieces stopped at it, and I want to continue that same thing rather than having the seam in a different spot. So it's nice that it one big piece all the way down.
Okay.
Without any seams.
So guys, if you didn't catch that, so Anna has just added on a whole bunch of work that we were going to try to get done today now. Because originally I was just going to get the furring strips around, and now it's the furring strips and all the trim, at least the vertical trim.
Okay, not all the trim, just the 2 pieces vertically right there. That's the only thing that's going to be affected by the furring strips.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're moving through the night like we're from a different star, flying over streets and our broken hearts. But they can't even touch us. We found a different beat. Paradise is waiting and we bought the lead.
All right. I know we need to install that other one.
Uh-huh.
If you give me the measuring tape, then I'll go ahead and measure these 2 while I'm up here.
Yeah, sure.
We run to the end and we run without shame. We own the game. And we ride on the flames till the morning light. Baby, 'cause we dynamite. Ain't nobody gonna hold us down. Break all the rules, let them run and hide. Baby, 'cause we dynamite. Gonna let the world know.
Here. Top complete. Whole top part. Okay, what are you doing?
Hey, okay, so you have finished putting up all the trim on this side. Looks great, good job.
Thanks. That looks nice.
So now this
Apple picks myself.
ladder is officially useless here because it's going to interfere. We might be able to get maybe one more line of furring strips on here, but for now it's in the way. So I'm going to move this, and then we're going to work on, I guess, these furring strips here, or I mean trim here, and then trim on the other
Yeah,
side.
the vertical pieces of trim. So I need to figure this side out. I already figured out the other side, but this side I need to like measure and see where I'm at with that.
I got some measuring. All
There's
right.
no window over here on this side, but I think it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, ladder coming down.
We make good decisions. That looks nice.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now that we have the trim on the top installed, it's time to put the trim on the bottom, which is a new addition for Anna. She added on to this.
I mean, we were going to do it at some point. We were going to do it at some point, just not in this order. But I
Right.
realized this has to happen before we put those furring strips up, or else we won't be able to get the nail gun in there.
Okay, so we are starting to lay out the trim for what's going to go around the bottom of it now, so we can put that on before we put on the second roof. And we're running into a little bit of issues. So here, we didn't do the best job with lining up these seams.
This was a whoops at the very beginning.
Yeah, it really should have been about 1 inch to the right. I think we had
Yeah.
lined it up perfectly with where the window was going to
Yeah,
be.
when I was doing this, I lined it up with the window, not thinking it needed to be stepped over in between the seams. This was an absolute mistake. I think it's lined up nicely underneath for the sheathing under there that you can't see. But yeah, this was just an oops. This was just an oversight when we were working on it.
What I'm saying is that we should just shift the piece of trim just over. Then nobody's going to notice a difference of 1/2 inch from any distance away. And also everybody's always at an angle. Like you're never straight on this side. It would be really rare for somebody to be straight on.
I'm gonna notice it.
Well,
I know.
one person out of everybody's going to notice it.
And we do have this big giant tree in the way most
Yeah,
of the
I
time,
just
too.
don't think it's going
But
to be.
like, I know it's important to cover the seam for water tightness, but there is like house wrap under there.
No,
And
we
I
got
don't
to
want to
cover it.
see the I could get in there and like maybe
No,
get some
we got to
paint.
cover it.
I think you're gonna see it's gonna draw your eye more to it
No, it
if
won't.
it's like shifted like a
It
quarter
will
inch
not.
over.
It's not going to be noticeable.
It's gonna be noticeable.
Let's go get a board and we'll see. Okay, I'll go get a board.
Okay.
So that's about normal viewing angle. You can move back and forth as much as you want, okay?
All right.
And this is going to be a trick. If I put it on the line or if I put it where it should go, okay?
Okay.
You're going to see here, is it on the line or is it not? You don't know. Okay, which one is it right now? Am I over the line or am I not?
You're over the line, maybe? It looks like it's lined up with the board above it nicely. Is it a trick? Yeah, it looks like it's lined up with the board above it.
You
from
think
this
so?
angle.
Okay, now turn around.
Okay.
I'm not telling you which one is which
Okay.
yet.
Turn it around. Not looking. I guess I didn't have to
Okay.
turn it around completely. I could
All right, now you turn back around.
Okay.
Okay, is it over the line or is it not?
Darn it, it looks exactly the same. It looks like it's scooched to the left. I think it's over the line now.
Okay,
I think it's not lined up. I think it's over the line,
okay.
and I think it's actually not really lined up.
All right, turn back around.
I'm just gonna close my eyes.
Okay, okay.
All
You can
right.
close your eyes. Okay.
All right. Closing my eyes.
Okay, now look again. Is it over the line or is it straight?
You're gonna trick me. Maybe you didn't move it. Did you not move it? Shoot. That looks fine, I guess. I don't know. Shoot. What did you do?
You're right, I was being tricky. I didn't move it.
Okay. That didn't look like you moved it.
So is that, all right,
Is that lined up right there?
that would be about lined up right there.
Okay. And then move it back over again?
And that would be,
Yeah, I can tell that it's not lined up
only
properly.
because you're looking.
Well,
when you weren't looking, you couldn't
and I'm honestly looking right up there at the very top, and that we won't ever be able to see that because a roof will be in the way.
Right, I really don't think it's going to be noticeable. And if it is, we could always take it off. Well, I guess if we do our horizontal lines, we're in problem. We're in trouble. I think we should just do these verticals for now and then get the roof on.
Yeah, that was the plan. Just the
Okay.
verticals and then do the rest of it.
Because then we could just install this like this, and if we realize, you know what, you can see it, then we could always move it with much effort.
Yeah, we'll just have, it'll involve a pry bar and then not being able to put in there. But yeah, let's just get these strips in here first. Yee, it's looking nice. So we're going to go with covering up the seam rather than putting it in the right spot.
That's what I'm doing, yeah.
Okay.
You can veto me, but that's what I'm
All
doing.
right. Hey, so I thought I'd show you before I put this piece of trim on what I was talking about months ago when I was putting these panels on. So when we put these panels on, we staggered these seams right here. So here's the window and it goes jags up and over. And then this seam is right here and it's not lined up perfectly with this seam right here for the window. So what happens is when you put the trim on, it's going to cover the seams completely. So this piece of trim, so you've got all this complicated stuff right here and it covers all of that right there. So all of this, all these seams get covered up by this board.
And then we'll have a board going to the right and left of it.
Yes, and then we'll have another vertical one right here for the corner and then one that will go across here and cover this seam. But yeah, that's why we had all these weird like puzzle pieces of siding on here, is because we knew we were going to have these, we were planning ahead for these, and that these would cover the seams for water penetration purposes and stuff.
And just aesthetics.
Yeah, so you don't even see it right there. It goes right along there. So yeah, that's that. Okay, so I know we promised you that we were going to get to that small roof with the cedar shakes, and we delayed doing that because we decided we needed to do the cedar trim on the upper part of the shed first because the little roof would just be in the way. And then we had to do some more trim on the bottom part of the building because, again, the small roof would be in the way of the nail gun installing that. And so I decided, you know, why don't we keep continuing with this cedar trim on the building. It's really exciting to get that whole portion done, and I think it'll look really nice and it'll be super fun. Additionally, we were looking at putting the glass in the building for the windows, and there's going to be a decorative kind of like grate on the front of the building. And then we said that's the same problem again with the small roof will be in the way for installing that decorative piece. So we might do windows, which are fixed glass. We might do windows before we get to that little roof. I think the little roof might be the last thing we end up doing for this building, minus the ramp and the door. But yeah, so I think the next things are just continuing on with that cedar trim on the bottom part of the building.
Hey Anna, what are you cutting?
I'm cutting this board again because I cut it long just to make sure the measurement was okay, and it was indeed long over there, so I'm going to cut it down to my original mark, which I think is actually correct.
Okay.
And even if it's not correct, it's going to be shoved up under there, under the roof, and no one will see it anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so what we decided is to make the trim. We were originally just going to go up to there with the trim, and then I decided it would look a lot better and more finished looking to continue all the way up. So this first one, I cut the board right here, And then the second piece of the same board goes all the way up. So this time what we're going to do is, instead of having a seam right there, on the other side, we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to cut out a rectangle out of it to make it one continuous board.
Okay, so right now what we're about to do, Anna's about to mark the back side of this board at the measurement that we need. That way it just doesn't put the mark on the front. So with the table saw, we'll then rip it down to close to what we need, and then we'll finish it off with a jigsaw.
Okay, so this is the line I had marked before from measuring.
Okay, so now what we want to do,
That's the line I marked.
measure up about this far. About right there.
Measure here?
Yeah,
Why?
maybe even more. Give it a little bit there, about right there.
Just and mark it?
Yeah. So because this saw is a circle, and it'll do cuts like this.
Oh yeah, it'll overcut.
It'll overcut. So this is canceling out that overcut, so I know how far to push it.
Those are fun sounds.
So if you're doing fine woodworking, you don't want to do that. It'll burn that wood right there.
Yeah.
But actually, this time it didn't burn it.
Proud I was a part of it. Someday I will feel alright. Timing felt so right, and we gave it all and gave them a
All right, here we go.
Let's see, how does that look?
Yeah.
Does it fit? Yeah? Okay.
from start. Can you see it clear? All the happy years I kept them in my heart. The time of our lives, it was all about fun. We were the kids, it was all about fun. A shame we grow older. Like it was yesterday. We were the kids and we did okay. A shame we grow older. Don't know you remember it, but I hope you think it's alright. Timing felt so right, we keep it on and give 'em a fight. Can you feel the beat, all the energy? I loved it all from start. Can you see it clear? All the happy years I kept them in my heart. The time of our lives, it was all about fun. We were the kids, it was all about fun. A shame we grow older. Remember it like it was yesterday. We were the kids and we did okay.
Hey guys, so we are calling it. That's it for tonight. It is 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. It's 8 o'clock. We're calling it. We got a lot done. We have a lot of trim that we put on unexpectedly.
Yeah, sorry about
Blaming
that.
somebody.
Well, we got all
So
the vertical trim on the bottom of the building. I know that doesn't seem like a lot of progress, but we got it done. And then next up is the horizontal pieces.
and then next up is the roof.
Yeah, maybe the
Uh,
windows are in there somewhere too.
All right, so tomorrow morning, that's what we'll start on. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks.